it's just been all crap.
Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. My name is Belgian Jasper. If this is your first time on the channel, hit subscribe right now. Rikke, thank you so much for your time today. I really do appreciate it. Exciting times for you guys. You've been on a weird journey with this band so far. You know, the pandemic didn't help you guys that much, but we're at the dreaded second album. Some bands take over a decade to make their first album, and then that becomes a hit, and the second album needs to be made. You did take a full decade for your first album, but nevertheless, your first album made quite some waves. It was quite the hit in the Doom world. What was that like going into this album then? Expectations were high?
Extremely high, yeah, definitely. I feel like when we left the studio, we had recorded Puritan Masochism, but we were extremely motivated as well because we'd finally had like a full studio experience. We had learned like all the things that we could do in the studio, and we just got a whole new view on creating music and creating an album, and yeah, we just felt really, really inspired, and we just had really high expectations for ourselves for the second album. We all sort of set challenges for ourselves for this album, and we wanted to make sure that when we listened to it, the four of us, that we were going to be able to tell that we had evolved and developed. Yeah.
Now, a key way to evolve as a band is by touring the hell out of everything possible and playing live shows over and over again, and reinventing in some cases your own material already based on reactions and so on. Like, obviously, wasn't that possible for you guys with your first album coming out just before the pandemic hit? Now, nevertheless, I mean, sure, that album was, let's call it, somewhat of an overnight sensation, but you still had to like earn your stripes with vans breaking down in Germany and so on. So you do have some of those, touring experiences under your belt. But for you in that situation, what has been like, what's been the best part about this whole ride where you've had maybe the forced freedom to focus on creativity and recording and fine-tuning that and thinking about where you want to take something? And what's been the most challenging part of that, where unlike most other bands, that organical part of it was kind of taken away from you?
Yeah, so actually when we released our first album, we were actually very lucky that we managed to go on our release tour. And I think a week after our last show, there was a total lockdown. So we were extremely privileged and lucky that we actually got to go out on that tour. But that said, as you mentioned, basically every show that we had planned after that got canceled or postponed, and it's just been 2 years of constant not knowing what to expect and setting your hopes up for something and then having it taken down, and just waves. And we had because our rehearsal space is owned by the municipality of Copenhagen, they were forced to shut it down, so we couldn't go and rehearse for 5 months. That was extremely stressful because we really wanted to, have a lot of time to really get into the detail with these new songs and really, develop them. Of course, Sara and Heidi, they were able to write riffs at home, but I mean, there was just a limit to how much we could do with each song when we couldn't rehearse it with drums. So yeah, it's just been very, very frustrating. I feel like the inspiration that some musicians talk about that they have gained during lockdown, they've been able to completely isolate themselves and just create music and not stress about having to play shows and stuff like that. I haven't really experienced that. I think it's just been all crap. It's I don't think it's I don't think that there's been any positives.
Yeah. One of the things that has been a bit of a trend in Doom, Death Doom, Blackened Doom, whatever people want to refer to it, but there's been this race in the scene to let's be the heaviest possible all the time, nonstop. And from what we already know from the new album is that you guys kind of took a different approach, where this is not a disco album. It's definitely still a very heavy album. But we've already, you've already teased some new songs and to the broader audience. And from the get-go, we see in certain areas faster pacing at times, some more blackened influences, some very melodic influences as well. So that sounds like that was a very conscious decision that you guys wanted to challenge the blueprint that you've made with the first album.
Yeah, definitely. I personally wanted to try and develop my vocal range a bit more, try to experiment more with adding melodies or just have a more melodic approach to my vocals in some pieces, in some of the songs. And one of the challenges that Sara set up for herself was that she wanted to try and write a guitar solo without it becoming like a stadium rock slash solo. Yeah. But she wanted to set that challenge for herself. I feel like she has succeeded perfectly. And yeah, the black elements, we all really like black metal, and I think we would, if we could, we would have added, I think, more elements. But the thing is, we can't play that fast. We just don't have that stamina yet.
Well, now that you mentioned that you have a passion for black metal, then maybe it's no surprise that apparently one of your favorite teas is Emperor's Breakfast. So maybe a question for you, because it seems that the band has embraced beer a lot, but I know that you're a big fan of tea as well. If you had to choose beer or tea, possible tea, definitely. To choose tea? 100%.
Always, yeah. There we go. Big tea fan.
On slightly more serious note, you mentioned the last 2 years, apart from I'm sure the positive feedback on all the music, it's just been crap, and it's just been terrible to deal with a lot of things. A lot of those emotions come out on this new record as well, but specifically a lot seems to deal with breaking bad habits and trying to get to a healthier spot. So this sounds like an extremely cathartic album for you to make. Is that right? And this is not just pandemic induced, but this is a little deeper than that.
Yeah, definitely. So there's definitely an element of trying to break those bad habits on the album. We've sort of created a red thread. Sara proposed that we should write an album about like the eternal hunt for happiness that we see a lot of in society. That we're constantly being told that we should always strive for something more, and we're not good enough as we are, or we need to earn more money or lose more weight, or whatever. So we kind of made that a red thread throughout the album, and we're just trying to. I thought it could be fun to try and approach that from different angles in the various songs. So there was definitely one of the songs, Into the Soot, definitely experiments with seeing it from the viewpoint of a person who has sort of realized, wait, my life is a constant chase for this, and no matter what I do, I can't fulfill my goal or my dream. Maybe this is actually bullshit, and maybe I should just take a conscious decision of ending that chase and just try and be happy with my life as it is. And there's like this underlying anger, like damn, I've wasted so many years of my life trying to, you know, spending so much energy on trying to complete this project, and it's just it's never going to be completed because there's constantly people making money or whatever off of my project, my chase or my dreams and stuff like that. But then actually making the decision of saying, no, I will not be a part of this anymore. I will try and be content with what I have, which I think is something that requires a lot of strength. But we also try in other songs to view this theme, you know, from other perspectives. And you know, from the perspective of people who haven't realized that yet and who are just constantly spending a lot of time and energy trying to improve their lives in the ways that they think they have to improve, and not really questioning whether or not they have to.
One thing that remains, which I like a lot compared to the previous album as well, is, you know, the artwork that complements the music and the themes and the emotions that you guys are channeling. Now, I wanted to ask you about this because I know that you work with the Danish illustrator Mads Berg for that. And as far as I know, he doesn't do other metal projects, or I don't think he has any credits for any other albums or any bands. And when I was looking him up, I was surprised to see that this is an artist that does all this colorful, happy imagery, but somehow Konvent was able to draw out the bleakest, most dark parts of his soul to bring that into art. How did that collaboration start? How did you connect with Mads, and was that a challenge for him to embrace this completely different style of art?
Yeah, it's a funny story. We actually met Mads at a concert we did several years ago. In Copenhagen. He was there just in the audience, and he ended up talking with Sara. She was on merch duty, or getting the merch safely back home that night, and she had like a box of merchandise, and she had to get a cab, and he had to get a cab as well, and then they ended up sharing the cab, and they started talking, and he said that he had been at the concert, and he was an illustrator, and if we ever needed any work done, then he would be very happy to help us with that. And we checked him out, and it was so funny to us because he's an illustrator, he's very successful. He's done some illustrations for an ice cream company.
Exactly, yeah.
Which is really famous here in Denmark, so we were just like, it's the ice cream company guy. That's we were like, okay, we can't really like picture that in our heads, but okay, let's give it a shot. Let's just try it out. And we had a meeting with him. He showed us these sketches that he had done, and he showed us the nun that he did for us, and lots of other stuff, and we just fell completely in love with it. And I think he was just really happy to do like a passion project that wasn't like paid by a certain company to sell something. But he could really use his passion for this project, and it was just an instant match.
Awesome. Yeah, no, that's great. And the nun that you referenced, obviously the cover art for your demo from, was it 2017, if I remember correctly?
I think so. Yeah. I can never quite remember. Yeah.
Awesome. So you talked already a little bit about, you were able to do your release tour last time, and then everything fell away. Now the buzz is coming back with the album coming out shortly. You've released some singles. Fans are getting very excited about everything. To kind of wrap us up here, what should those fans keep their eyes open for? What can you share about the plans that you have for the rest of the year?
So we're going on tour in April and May around Europe. We are trying to figure something out for the fall, but you know, it's kind of hard to plan right now because, as you probably know, Sara, our guitarist, she's about to have a baby. It's the first convent baby, so it's very exciting. We've been extremely lucky to get connected with a girl called Sophie, who has played a lot of black metal bands. She plays in a punk band as well. She's just a very, very skilled guitarist who wants to help us out on this tour. And we need to figure out if that's gonna, you know, continue in the future and stuff like that. But everything's still very much up in the air right now. Yeah, but we just feel extremely lucky that we were able to find her and that she wanted to come with us on this tour. So yeah, right now the future is a bit blurry, but yeah, I'm sure that we can figure something out.
Awesome. All right. Well, when those announcements are ready to be made, we'll make sure that we see those and that we share that news as well. Rikke, I want to thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate it. I know this is exciting times, even if I know that you prefer to be on stage right now. But it's exciting nonetheless to have the second album out. Thank you for your time. I wish you all the best with the release of the album, and I hope to see you guys on the road on a stage somewhere. And if that happens, I'll throw some tea.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you.
You are awesome for watching this video. Click right here to see more content like it and subscribe to the channel.